All right, Andrew, we can see the PowerPoint, correct?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. All right, folks, well, welcome in to this next edition of the Arkansas State Broadband Office's Arkansas Broadband Leaders Network. For those that are brand new to this group, again, we highlighted just a second ago that membership and attendance within these meetings may grow just a little bit. To date, these last several months, the members of the ABLN have been members of our county broadband committees. We did the state tour and organized around the state, and it was our commitment to those folks that we would start with them at the grassroots level. So we've honored our commitment, we've honored our word. We started this group with our local county broadband committee members, but now it's time to expand. We know that as a state, it's going to take everyone to make this thing work moving forward in broadband. So we're expanding membership within the ABLN. We've invited moving forward, and we're going to continue to grow. For this meeting moving forward, we've invited ISPs, internet service providers. We've invited members of the Arkansas Connectivity Coalition. We've invited members of the General Assembly, our mayors, and our county judges. And so you're going to see membership grow, and we think it's a good thing to have an open floor with our stakeholders across the state. And if you can, go ahead and mute yourself, because I don't think we muted everyone automatically. So if we can, go ahead and mute yourself, and we'll move forward. So again, this is an office hours session. For those that are new to the group, we operate sort of on a traditionally a bi-weekly basis, so every 2 weeks. Week A, as we call it, week 1 or week A is typically an open office hours session where we do a few brief updates from our team, and then go into open the floor and do Q&A for our folks. That's sort of week A. Week B, we do subject matter meetings. To date, we've covered topics such as affordability, FCC broadband mapping, locating and permitting, and other issues. So again, week A is typically an open office hours Q&A session with the whole group. Week B is a subject matter topic, and then we rotate back and forth. So we think it's a good, solid way to do things for the state. So real quick agenda for us today, updates from our team, then we'll go into Q&A, and then we'll talk about the next meeting. It says week of November 6th, really week of November 6th. That's my fault. I did that this morning, and I've been up quite a few hours this week, and that'll probably come up a little bit later before we wrap, but it's my fault. The next week, the meeting will be week of November 6th for this team. So very briefly, for our office updates, again, we touched on it at the top. The Arkansas Broadband Leaders Network, or ABLN, is growing. Again, we've expanded now beyond our county broadband committee members to include ISPs, members of the General Assembly, the Arkansas Connectivity Coalition, and our mayors and county judges across the state. So it's growing. We should have higher attendance, we think, moving forward. And it's a great way for us to move forward as a state and make this thing happen. Quickly, staff introductions across the board for those that may be new to the team and to the ABLN group. So I'm Glenn Howey, Director of the Arkansas State Broadband Office, and we'll hand it over. I'm working off of one laptop today for reasons we'll talk about at the end, but I'll hand it over to our team to do quick introductions for those that may be new to the group, and then we'll move forward with additional updates.
Good morning, folks. I'm Lane Bailey. I'm the Broadband Grants Program Manager.
Thanks, Lane.
Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay. All right. I'm Andrew Marecki. I'm the ACC AmeriCorps Fellow serving here at the Arkansas State Broadband Office. I look forward to working with all of you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good morning. I'm Kimberly Young. I'm the Business Operations Manager here at the Broadband Office.
Yeah. Thanks, Kimberly. And we also have, she's not with us today. She works part-time. We also have Miss Emma French. She works with our team on a part-time basis right now, Mondays and Tuesdays. She works on our financials and compliance, reporting with state and Fed. So former CFO within the Arkansas State Police. So brings a lot of experience to our team, and she's been a great help for us moving forward. So quickly, for those who didn't know, we have not issued a press release on this. That's going to happen Monday. We have not issued any social media announcements yet. We wanted to have this announcements with you first. The Arkansas BEAD, or Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Initial Proposal, Volume 1, is now live. It's on our website at broadband.arkansas.gov. So if you go to the page, We have an opening sort of latest updates flash page connected to our homepage. The first sort of couple of paragraphs now in the headline is about our initial proposal, volume 1. It's live. We're having a 30-day public comment period on this document. So you'll see when you go, the volume 1 draft document is there for you to download and look at and read. There's also a couple of available attachments. One lists with FCC fabric IDs, unserved locations, underserved locations, and then there is also a community anchor institution list. So we have those 3 lists. The unserved and underserved lists are probably not going to be that helpful for you in that they are indicated by their FCC fabric IDs. So outside of the internet service providers, it's probably going to be very difficult to see. What's more important for especially our local county committee members is well, really everyone. Go click on the link, download the document, read it, and give us your feedback on it. What this document does is outline how the state of Arkansas will operate its mapping challenge process. So for those that have been part of presentations before, the state of Arkansas gets to run another infrastructure grant round, likely summer next year, okay? We have to make sure that our state map is as correct as possible before we go and do that. We don't want to leave anyone out, right? So what we have to do, likely at the very beginning of next year in January, the first week or 2, is the state will launch what's called a mapping challenge process. So the state is going to release a statewide map showing all of the homes and businesses in Arkansas, the internet speeds that we think are available at the locations, and some are going to be eligible for the grant program and some won't. And it's largely based upon what we think the current speeds are available at each location. So long story short is the document that we've released today publicly outlines how the state is going to run that challenge process, okay, to make the state map as correct as possible. So we encourage everyone to download the document, read through it, and send us your feedback on it. You're going to notice there's the document there. There's also a couple of attached lists, again, unserved locations, underserved locations, which is more of a technical list, and it's going to be hard for you to decipher because it's just numbers. There's also a listing of community anchor institutions, which we think is critically important. That's going to be an easier read for you. You'll be able to sort it, look at it. It has community anchor institution name, address, city, so forth. And there's also a listing of state broadband funding to date, not just through our office, but everything. Federally, state, the whole thing. It's all there for you. There's also a comment form available. So again, download the material, read through it, give us your feedback, use the comment form. We have to track that and make sure that we catalog every comment that comes in and consider it before we take the document that you're reading, make a final version and submit it to the federal government. Again, as part of the process of unlocking the $1 billion that U.S. Commerce allocated to us earlier this year. Okay, so that's big news. We didn't issue a press release. The press release is going to go Monday. We're going to start talking about it on social media after this call. We wanted to make sure that we let you know first as our commitment to you to be very cooperative in partnership. This morning, we had our first AR Connect infrastructure roundtable. It was a good meeting. It was a kickoff meeting with folks. We think that's going to be beneficial for the state moving forward. You should also be receiving our weekly review updates from our office, something new that we started to increase communication across the state. It gives kind of a recap of the week before of things that took place. I want to shout out our internet service providers, those that have won awards from us. In this last round, we've encouraged them to do town hall events and kickoffs when they're ready to get moving, and we've been at some of those. And you've seen some of those in our weekly review updates. They have been tremendous. We've seen great attendance from the communities that they've been in. So we're very happy with that effort. And lastly, we should have a monthly newsletter coming forward. We're going to start next week with that. And you're going to see a sort of a more comprehensive monthly newsletter start coming from our office next week. And then we'll have them every month after that. So that's sort of office updates for our team. So the floor is yours. This is where we get to the open office hours Q&A. Let me get out of this real quick. And you're going to see the PowerPoint, which is fine, but I need to be able to see people. So we'll go here. And if anyone has anything, so questions, we're opening the floor to whatever you want to talk about. Again, today we should have members of our county broadband committees. We should have some General Assembly folks, Connectivity Coalition folks, ISPs, mayors, and county judges all on the line with us today. So we want to open the floor. Questions, concerns, any issues or good news, things happening locally, we want to hear about it. So if you want to, maybe, if you can, just raise your hand. And we'll try to get to you. All right, quiet group early so far. All right, Misty, caller number 1.
You know, it can be a little intimidating to like, hey, I'm going to ask the first question.
No, go ahead.
But so I just want clarification on the, like, excuse me, I'm sorry, like the public input part of the BEAD, like the plan, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, when do we need to do that, or is there a set date for that? Or I guess I just need clarification on that.
Okay, Misty. Yeah, thanks. And I think you were just at a broadband type event, correct? Weren't you?
I was, yeah. And it was very informing, and I got to hear from other states regarding their broadband plans. And I mean, we seem to have our stuff together, and so I'm very proud of Arkansas. I want to make sure, it makes me want to be more active, and it makes me realize that I could have been more active all along. And so I think that that's a nice thing, but it was really fantastic. So I'm proud of y'all for doing the work that you've done.
Thanks, Misty. And which event was that? Where were you?
I went to a Shelby Coalition. It was called Anchor Nets in DC.
Okay.
And I believe that we had a couple of other Arkansas organizations there in attendance too, to represent.
Very good. Very good. No, good report. And for those, I think it's schools, healthcare, libraries, and I forget the last one.
Broadband Coalition. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So it's schools, libraries, healthcare group that focuses on broadband stuff. And so thanks for representing Arkansas while you were there. I'm sure you did great. And yeah, one of the things that we're trying to do, we know that stakeholder engagement and communications is important. So this is an example of us doing that and trying to involve more people in the plans that we have. So specifically to your question, the 5-year action plan was released end of August. It's on the website as well. There was no formal public comment period for that. It was not required, but we were taking comments. If people want to email us their comments regarding the 5-year action plan, we welcome that. Some folks have asked, and we've told them to do that to us. There's no timetable on getting comments on the 5-year action plan back to us. So you can simply email us, and we'll have the email address. If it's not at the end, we'll make sure you have it. You read that through and send us feedback. We're taking that all the time. On the BEAD initial proposal volume 1, there's a statutory requirement of a 30-day public comment period. So today is day 1. Day 30 is going to be November 18th. Okay, so we have 30 days from today. Today's day 1. Day 30 is November 18th to submit formal public comment. So we encourage everyone to read it, download it. There is a Google form along with the posting. So that will take you to a Google form that you can input email, a name, last name, zip code, so forth, so we can track it. Because again, we have to catalog all of the responses that we get in for consideration to change things. So again, you have a 30-day public comment period. There's a form for you to fill out with any comments that you may have. And again, we're going to push it out. So, we published it today. We're going to go on social with it after this call. Press release will go out Monday, but we're also going to email it to our stakeholders as well. So we're going to email the document and the link to the Google form and push it out as far and as wide as we can. I hope that helps on this one. And if it doesn't, Misty, let me know. Let's see, Mr. Rick Hales.
Hello there, Glenn. Good morning. Sorry, I'm in the service department, but I didn't want to miss the meeting just to get a transmission fixed on a truck. I wanted to just give you and the committees a quick report. We've taken it upon ourselves at Aristotle to create a one-page document for the county broadband committees in our footprint. And this document will give them a really nice, concise summary of coverages in their area, take rates in their area, and hopefully this will help them identify where there's some internet and what levels of speed. So anyone that's in the ARC grant partner group that we had will be receiving that, and I'm going to try to deliver those to the committee meetings in person. So I encourage other ISPs to do the same because it sure will help the committees. I serve on 3 committees, and I think that's going to be a good tool for them to use.
Yeah, thanks for that update, Rick. Very much appreciate that. No, look, the more information that our folks get, we think that's a good thing. We want folks to be informed, and so we appreciate all those efforts, Rick. Thank you for that update. Let's see. Now, I don't want to mispronounce anyone's name, so if I do, I'm sorry. Let me, Darren?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, guys. We're just driving out of New Orleans, but we just came out of an NTIA meeting and a larger broadband with the cooperatives, and we're with Arkansas Fiber Network. One of the things that got brought up, and I think this is just part of that information sharing that I don't think we've heard before, is that during the challenge period, even though the BEAD funding has to be on initial or new builds, and cannot be existing builds or existing infrastructure that's already in there, or middle mile even. The one thing that I thought was unique that I think everybody should know is that you can challenge, during the challenge period, you can challenge existing builds that are already out there to the community, or to the CAIs, the infrastructure that's out there, or institutions that are out there that are asset or anchor institutions. And today was the first time I'd heard that. So I think it's important that people realize that even if they're out there, and I know there's a lot of competitive ISPs, but if there's somebody out there that's already in there and they're not meeting the requirement in the underserved areas, that you can challenge that as well, not just who's putting in for the bid this year.
Yeah, no, Darren, great feedback. So just to recap, you're right. So in this challenge process, and again, I think I will let Lane take a second and to talk about kind of some webinars and stuff that we're going to do for folks. Yeah, you're right. So folks are going to be, there's going to be challenges available not only for homes, right, and businesses, but also community anchor institutions. And there's different speeds attached to that. So, for any home and business, it's 100 by 20, and it's kind of technical. That's the kind of speed and line of demarcation between what's eligible for a build or upgrade versus what's not. And our community anchor institutions, it's 1 gig symmetrical. So yeah, you'll be able to challenge community anchor institutions as well. We think that's important, and that's available within our program. Lane, you want to touch on kind of webinars and information that's going to go out in December?
Sure. Hi, Darren. We are developing a couple of documents right now that one of them will be the instructions for the process of doing a challenge, along with another document that will have frequently asked questions. That'll come out around December 1st. And then during the month of December, we'll host live training for folks who are eligible to submit challenges. We'll do one training just for ISPs, and then another training for the elected officials and nonprofits, and then we'll make that training available as video on our website. So there'll be a lot of opportunity for us to answer questions, to walk you through the process, show you we're really excited about the challenge portal that we've got. We've seen demos of it. It's powerful, but it's also very easy to use. So we look forward to rolling that out, showing it off in December with a planned go live date for the challenge process in early January. So I'm glad we brought this up. I am going to be sharing, or probably Andrew will be sharing with everybody on this call today, a template for you guys to submit questions about the challenge process to us, so we can incorporate those questions into the training documents I just mentioned and into the FAQ document. So be watching for that by way of email. It'll be a template for submitting questions about the challenge process, and we'll get that out shortly.
Guys, we really appreciate it. That's good stuff.
Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Lynn. Hey, Philip.
Hi, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Philip Powell. I'm with the NTIA, the Federal Program Officer for Arkansas. I just wanted to give a shout out to Glenn and the broadband team for getting the Volume 1 out for public comment. Arkansas is ahead of a lot of states right now, making great progress. And so I just wanted to give kudos to Glenn and his team for leading the pack on this one. And if y'all have any questions about what I do, what NTIA does, how we're helping Glenn in the state office, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and I think that may, Phil, that may prompt, give me the idea with the team. I think our next, subject matter meeting that we have with the group, we may do an NTIA deep dive. I think it would be great to have you present, have maybe some of the other folks from NTIA get on the call with us in this group and walk through a lot of things for a lot of people. I think that'd be very helpful for folks. We may do a U.S. Department of Commerce NTIA subject meeting for the next one. I think that'd be very important for folks. So thanks, Phil. Appreciate you. Let's see. Any updates? Any good news out there? Any of the providers on the line that have done a recent town hall event want to touch on that, or any of the committees have good things going on? I put it in a social post, I think this week at some point, maybe Monday. The Carroll County Broadband Committee, on their own volition, at their own initiative, sent in a very comprehensive sort of executive summary document of all the work they've been doing in Carroll County. It was very impressive. This is, look, again, we're distinguishing ourselves from other states with our stakeholder engagement and grassroots organizing. Carroll County has been one of our star committees so far, and they're doing a great job up there. Just want to give them a shout out on that. We've had a couple of ISPs do some town hall events recently. Walnut Hill did an event down in Columbia County. Pettigene Fiber did a really nice event up in Marshall. Last as well, so give them some shout outs. But yeah, anything, if any providers want to highlight anything that's going on with them or any news in county broadband committees, feel free to share away. And I was putting people on the spot, but that's why we have this call, is open office hours. So
I think Rick Hales had his hand up earlier. I don't know if the question's been answered or what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he touched on sort of the informational sheet that they had given out to the committees. Okay, well, just to recap, let me go back to the PowerPoint real quick. Get this out of the way, and I'm just going to leave it up like this so I can see folks. All right, so our next meeting of the Arkansas Broadband Leaders Network, or ABLN, is going to be the week of November 6th. We're going to skip a week and move it to the week after. So I'm getting married tomorrow and working through rehearsal stuff and getting prepped up downtown today. So we're going to skip kind of our regular 2-week period and go to the next one. So the next one will be the week of November 6th. When we're back, we talked about doing a subject matter meeting. I think it makes a lot of sense to have NTIA and U.S. Commerce present to the group and field questions from everyone. You can be able to ask questions directly of federal government folks. So that should be interesting. So we'll probably do that the week of November 6th, likely Thursday or Friday. Be on the lookout for that invite with the specific date and time, but it will be the week of November 6th. Let's see what we got. Again, on the socials, our email. Just to recap for folks, in case you haven't seen it, I will try to do this. Did it go to the website, Andrew? Okay, so this is sort of our flash page on the website, broadband.arkansas.gov. You'll see the first post now is about our BEAD initial proposal for public review and comment. If you click, all right, you'll be able to download the document to read through. It's not terribly long. It's about 20 or so pages. Again, you also have lists of existing broadband funding sources that have taken place. Everything that we could find in catalog. It's very exhaustive. It's much more exhaustive than a lot of states that I've seen. So we worked hard on that, but it's very exhaustive. Again, unserved and underserved locations by their fabric ID. That's going to be more relevant for our internet service providers. The community anchor institution list is a little more comprehensive. I think that's a good list for our county folks to take a look at. Look at this real quick. Apparently it opens on row number 3000. So I'm scroll to the top if I can get this done. So you're going to see the name of the community anchor institution. Now the community anchor institution definitions are within the document. Okay, so that's where the definitions are, which ones. But you have a name of the entity, location IDs if we could find them. You're going to have addresses of community anchor institutions, and also the speed availability that we think is there. Okay, for this list, you want to see 1,000. That's what you want to see. Now, if it's not 1,000, the need is going to be 1,000. All right. So the takeaway on this is, for your community anchor institution list, if you see a 1,000 in the broadband need column, okay, that means that community anchor institution would be eligible for the BEAD program as of today. All right. Versus if there's 1,000 in this column, that means that it wouldn't be available. Right. So again, download the list, look through it. I think it'd be critically important for our counties to take a look at this, get a handle on the community anchor institutions that have been sort of designated, okay, in your county. And if you think there are ones that are not there, all right, that's going to be part of the challenge process. Part of the challenge process will say, hey, we think this particular location is a community anchor institution. It's not on your list. It should be, and that'll be part of it too. So just want to make sure that everyone has as much information as possible. Lastly, there's a public comment form that's available for everyone. Kind of talks through some of the basics, collects some contact information for you, and allows you to put in comments. So we have to catalog all of that. Again, we think it's critically important, so that's there for you. And we're accepting public comments again through Saturday, November 18th. Today is day 1, and day 30 is November 18th, so we look forward to that with you. All right. Great job. If you have any other questions that you didn't want to ask kind of on the call, that's perfectly fine. Oh, Darren, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, hey Glenn, just one last question I had, and I'm not sure that this isn't already on there, but as far as the mapping itself and the way you guys are kind of showing or reflecting that, the underserved and unserved areas, is there a layer that's going to reflect RDOF funding that's already been presented or that has been committed in those areas, so we know the difference?
Yeah, so what's going to happen, and Lane, you touch on it if I don't get it right, because I know you've been talking to the team a little bit more than me. Essentially, you're right, any location that has been funded, at least currently, through a different program is not going to be eligible for the BEAD program. Okay, so if there's a location out there that has been awarded an RDOF grant, okay, that's through the FCC, or a USDA Reconnect grant, or there's some other ones too. If it's been the subject of a grant award already, right, then that location will have already been awarded dollars to build to it at some point. So we can't fund it with the new stuff, right? So those locations will not be eligible. Some of our internet service providers in the state recently kind of elected into another funding program through the FCC, right, for some of their locations. So those are going to also come off the table. But yes, you will, Darren, you should not be able to, for instance, on the map, I don't think you're going to be able to highlight a location that's not eligible to be built to. because of a funding commitment, right? You can challenge if a location says it's got great service, but you don't think it does, you can challenge that, but you won't be able to challenge a location that's subject to a award already, like RDOF. Lane, did I cover that properly?
That's spot on. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Darren. All right. Well, again, folks, if anyone has anything that you wanted to say, but maybe a little gun shy because of the crowd, that's okay. Send us an email. It's broadband@arkansas.gov is the email for our team. So drop us a line. Let us know what you're thinking. Any questions? I know Andrew monitors that every day, so we'll get back to you very quickly. And we look forward to seeing you on the next call the week of November 6th. And until then, we'll see you next time. Bye, folks.